Hello, this is Tracy Kaywood with PropertyMob.com. At you this week from the Penthouse Lounge at Casa Marina in Jacksonville Beach. It's great to be back home. I forgot my iPad today, so I have my notes written on my own iPad right here. I just want to start you out with a quick tip, okay? I had an episode happen last night with me and my cat. He decided to tap the water over onto my brand new MacBook Pro and fried it. So keep any liquids away from your computer. It's going to cost me about $1,200 to repair the logic board in it. So learn from my mistake on that one. Okay, this week question is from Jamal. Jamal loves to ask questions. I love that. So you should all be like Jamal and send me a question every week so that I can get them answered right here on the show, and you can feel better about going out there and doing deals. Jamal's question is, what verbiage do I put in the contract so that it's legally assignable? Well, in the state of Florida, Jamal, all contracts are assignable unless they say that they're not. So in Florida, you don't have to make any certain clauses or paragraphs in order for you to assign the contract. Now, I'm sure that the laws vary by state, so check with the laws in your state about assigning contracts. I know most of the time you can just add a simple paragraph that says this contract is assignable without the consent of the seller. So you can just automatically assign your rights over to that contract to someone else without getting permission from the seller to do that for a fee. A lot of title companies will require that the seller sign something at closing or prior to closing stating that they're aware that you're assigning it and making money. So, you know, that's fine. As long as you have a good relationship with your seller and you haven't pulled the wool over their eyes, then you shouldn't have a problem getting that signed either. Speaking of title companies, you also want to know how to select the title company for your closings. I actually have like 3 suggestions that you can use to find a title company to work with on your closings. This happens to me a lot because I have a lot of bandit signs out there. A lot of new investors will call me on the phone and ask me what title company I use to do my closings, and I give them recommendations. There really are only about, that I know of, 3 or 4 title companies in Jacksonville that are investor friendly. They know the lingo and the terminology and, contract assignments and double closings and A to B, B to C, jargon, that type of thing. And those are the ones that you want to work with because they don't give you any haggles about your contracts or how you do business, and they can even help you, make suggestions on how to improve your business. So if you see any We Buy Houses signs in your area, call them on the phone and get recommendations of who they use. They're usually very friendly and they'll suggest a good title company in your area. Also, you can go to an investor meeting. Every area has one. It's usually once a month. There's always a title company guy hanging around in the investor association that is investor friendly. So that's another good place to find a title company. And you can always get your phone book out and start calling people and tell them what you do and talk about wholesaling properties and assignment of contracts and get their response and see if they're experienced with investors, and go interview them. I mean, after all, you're paying them to perform a service for you, so you want to pick the right one and the right people that work with you the best. So those are a couple of ways to find title companies. It's really word of mouth is the best way. Once you start networking and talking to other investors in your area, title companies always come up. So you'll find out who they are, very quickly once you start getting into the business and talking to other people. Now, next on my list is M.O.B. I'm going to talk about that for just a minute. I know I'm a little short on time always, but M.O.B. is the maximum allowable offer. And as wholesalers, you really have 2 numbers that you're working with. One is how much can you sell it for, and the other is what is the most that you can pay the seller for the property. And there should be a spread in there, and you should have room to negotiate, because even though you do your research and you find out you can sell it for a certain number, doesn't mean that you're going to sell it for that. So Mayo is actually a formula that you can use, and the formula that I use is ARV, which is after repaired value, times 60% minus repairs. And if you don't know what the repairs are, I'll do another video. That's another show to tell you. I've got a repair checklist that's very easy. You can figure out what the rehab's going to cost you in a roundabout kind of way, so that you can figure out Mayo. So let's say you find out you can sell it for $60,000 by doing your research. Then the most you can pay, is probably $50,000. So you want to have $10,000 to negotiate, so that when you do your assignment fee, you make, somewhere between $1,000 and $10,000. That gives you a lot of room to play with when you're negotiating with your buyer. So you want to obviously lock in the lowest price with the seller, get the highest price from your buyer, but you need to know what those numbers are. So you want to do your research to find out your maximum price, and I've got a tool that's going to help you do that. Under the resources tab on the website, propertymob.com, I have a Mayo cheat sheet that is already whipped up for you with the 60% minus repair formula already in there. You can take it with you on your appointments. Across the top, you're going to see ARV. It goes from $40,000 to $220,000. Those are generally the price ranges that I stay in. If you're in an area with higher prices, then you can always, add more, or ask me to add, a higher number. I can do that for you. So across the top is ARV. Along the left-hand side of the spreadsheet is repairs. You use it just like a multiplication table. You meet the two in the middle, and it'll give you Mayo. And that's actually the most that you can pay for the property. And then there's another sheet for how much you can sell it for, Mayo, which is usually ARV times 70% minus repairs. And those numbers will vary depending on if you're in a war zone or a lower income neighborhood. And so the ARV needs to be much lower, because those markets are a little dried out right now. So make sure you go to the resources tab on the website and get your free Mayo cheat sheet, yours to use. Take it with you, leave it on your clipboard, and you'll dig it. ARV times 60% minus repairs. There's your offer, bam, right there on the table. So you will need to know ARV and repairs before you make the offer. Okay. On the website, propertymob.com, make sure you go there as many times as you want and ask a question. The website wasn't working last week, that particular form, so if you ask me a question, I didn't get it, please resend it. I'll make sure to address your questions next week on the show. So use the resource to your advantage. Ask as many questions as you like, and I'll make sure to answer each and every question for you, as long as it pertains to wholesaling real estate. On the website, propertymob.com, ask the questions on the right-hand side. Ask all you want. Also, would like to ask you to bookmark our website right where it says sharing is sexy. Make sure you do that for us and tell your friends about us. And we will see you next week in the lounge. We are the makers of Badass Investors. See ya.